I am going to tell you, I believe that there is going to be a hellacious pullback in gold at some point.
We're going to walk in one morning and it's going to be 4 standard deviations down. There's going to be like a $200 move.
But what's amazing, like monthly RSI is 91. That's as overheated a chart as you can find now. There's no such thing as risky securities, only risky prices.
This whole First Brands bankruptcy, like they thought it was like 6 to 8 billion and it turns out to be like 50 billion and like 200 CLOs own the debt. It is, dude, it is a mess.
So in the entertainment space, I finally got to the end of Black Rabbit. You watching this one? What is happening, good people? We are here to record Macro Dirt Podcast number 67 on October 8th with my man, Jared Dillian. What's up, bro?
What's up, homie?
Oh, a lot is up today, JD. Today is my beautiful Labrador Retriever's 6th birthday, Beckham. The Yanks stayed alive and ended a 39-0 streak that the Blue Jays had when winning by 5 runs this season. 39-0, that's over. And everybody and their mother's talking about gold 4K.
Yeah.
I guess we start there, eh?
Yep.
You put up a good tweet that I very much agreed with when we both saw that Wall Street Journal tweet calling out our debasement trade that we've been in for years.
Yeah, you know what's funny is I guess this is the new word, the debasement trade. I didn't know there was a name for it. But what I said was by the time there is a name for it, you're usually getting close to the end, you know? Like, and then Peter Atwater, you know Peter, right? Like he, in the replies, he put a Google Trends search of debasement, and it's like going parabolic.
That's because Aunt Connie is looking it up and seeing what it means. She's going to go into the gold market and she's going to buy some gold miners. And that's going to be the high, right? I'm amazed that, you know, the conversation in gold is very interesting because it's historically overbought. It's 25% above the 200-day moving averages, you know, which gold doesn't do. You know what I mean? It simply doesn't do that. Over history, it has done that like a handful of times. The debasement people are saying, sorry, pal, overbought doesn't count. Like this train is going to keep going. Now, I would beg to differ. I am going to tell you, I believe that there is going to be a hellacious pullback in gold at some point.
We're going to walk in one morning and it's going to be 4 standard deviations down. There's going to be like a $200 move.
It's going to be all at once. Exactly. Exactly. There's going to be a reason for it where everybody's like, oh, this trade actually has a reason not to be in.
China stops buying. China says they stop buying.
Yeah, central banks are 3K limit bid.
Yeah.
Could you imagine? The thing would collapse to that price like in 5 minutes.
I mean, look, like I still have my core position that I've had for 20 years. I'm still long. But I'm just saying if you're listening to us and you haven't bought gold yet, like now would probably be a bad time.
Yeah.
Like you're going to want to wait to a pullback to 3,500, something like that. Like you'll get the pullback. Don't chase it here. So
we are going to demonstrate the lesson. There's no such thing as risky securities, only risky prices. And if you and I put our heads together and think these are risky prices to get into the gold market, man, I'm going to say that they are. So we'll see what happens. But what's amazing, like monthly RSI is 91. You know what I mean? Like that's as overheated a chart as you can find now. So it's
it's nice to be in it. It's nice to be,
You know, but these are the times where your head has got to be on a swivel because it's going to be like, okay, do you want massive drawdowns or do you want a smaller position and a big P&L, right? Make a sale here. I have a smaller position. I have a big P&L. And now if it goes up $1,000 from here, you know, I still got some. That's what I kind of recommended that my readers do this morning. Like sprinkle a couple of shares of GLD or Fizz out there, 5% of your position, make a sacrificial sale, see how it feels. Sell 1/10 of your GDX metals and mining position. Look back in a week and see how it feels. You know, that's how you get a real feel for the markets. Put a transaction in there and see what happens.
Also, when you do that, you reduce your stress.
Yeah.
Right? Even if it's only like a 5 or 10% position, like your stress level goes way down. You're like,
Yeah.
like I don't have this full position, even if it's just a token amount. So.
Yeah. Anyone that's had a big drawdown or a big profit in a trade that goes away understands that feeling, right? Anybody that's had a huge profit and rides it right back down to break even swallows their heart when that happens. And if you have to have experienced that in order to not be saying, fuck that, full steam ahead, 4,100 bid, so we'll see. There's got to be some balance out there. And my argument is just that we are still trading a market of securities, and there is nothing new under that market of securities sun. So we'll see what happens. Let's talk about copper for a minute, JD. This has landed on my radar screen. I'm sure it's somewhere on your radar screen, but Techcominco lowered guidance on one of their Chilean mines. There's supposed to be some deficits on the horizon in Chile, Congo, Indonesia. Citigroup sees 12K LME in the first half of next year. And if we throw the copper chart up, we know that we are approaching now the 2024 peak of 11K with last sale at about 10.7. So I'm not like sold on a copper breakout just yet. And I haven't moved any money towards it. I'm trying to decide if I should keep it on the radar or not.
You should definitely keep it on the radar. I'm friends with a guy that owns a copper mine in Chile. Wow. And you should meet him sometime. You would get along great. He knows who you are. He watches the podcast.
I'd love to meet him.
His name is Duncan, and he is, obviously owning a copper mine. He's super bullish. He spoke at DirtCon 2 DirtCons ago, something like that. I think it was the one you missed.
Okay.
And he basically is like, look, like it takes 20 years to bring a copper mine online. Like, if we have a supply deficit, there is nothing we can do about it. There's nothing we can do about it. It takes 20 years to bring a mine online, Yeah. So, look, copper is, I don't have a position right now. After that 20% crash, I was like, I do not want to touch this thing with a 10-foot pole. I really don't.
It's so slippery. It's so fucking slippery, copper. That's why, you got to put on your body armor if you're going to get into a position in copper. You got to get ready for battle. And that's why I'm bringing this up, right? This is what traders do. What are we doing with this thing here? Do we need to be long it? Is the price too risky? Is it going to break out? Does it have 25% upside from here? And I'm just not sold on it yet. What is interesting, though, is that if you look at COPX, COPX, the copper miners ETF, that is making a run through the 2010 peak, and it looks like a giant cup.
Wow.
Where we could have a cup and handle taking off here. So, it has my attention. I don't have the cojones to put any money into copper right now, especially with, if gold backs off a couple of $100 from here, copper's going to back off with it. So again, I can't stress enough. There's no such thing as risky trades or risky securities, only risky prices. So let's be careful with copper and gold and silver here at $49. Let's touch on silver. HSBC just put a $49 end of year target, and wait for it. What did they put on their 2026 target, JD?
Oh, I don't know.
$41. It's interesting to me, right? Like I would have thought I was with one eye. I was like, oh my God, they're going to say $75 copper in 2026. And they put in a lower price that's kind of expressing no volatility. So I thought that was somewhat interesting.
Well, I do think silver is going to pull back to about 41. I don't think it's a 2026 event. I think it's a 2025 event.
Yeah.
You've got all-time resistance at 50. You hit 50 in 2011. You hit 50 in 1980. There's no such thing as triple tops, but we are going to get a pullback. It's going to be about a 20% pullback in silver,
When you look at the things that are rhyming between, the overbought condition in gold, we said we should not to touch it until it breaks out through 3,500 in cash. We're safely through 4K. Like, this is the beginning of like what I was expecting, right? We're not all the way there, but like something towards 4,500 is kind of what I was expecting. So I wouldn't feel terrible. After our podcast, I'm going to trade a little gold just to see how it feels. Because that's always beneficial to me to get in there and sling it out a little bit. So What's also interesting, Bitcoin came ripping back. Now, I thought Bitcoin was going to be in a situation where all these institutions that piled into Bitcoin say, wait a minute, we need more gold. We have too much of Bitcoin. And I thought there might have been a dynamic like that. And then Bitcoin came ripping back to the highs. What are your thoughts on Bitcoin at the moment?
I think Bitcoin is double fucked, honestly.
Wow. Why?
For two reasons. One, this debasement trade, which is going to get a correction, is going to hit Bitcoin. And we're going to talk about this more, obviously. But, dude, I am getting more and more bearish in stocks by the day. If we get a pullback in this AI trade, right, like it's Bitcoin's going to 110, on a rope.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
I agree.
And also, I don't like the price action around 125. It traded up to 125, kissed it, and then traded back off like 3%. So I don't really like that price action.
Great observation. Pay attention to what prices securities spend very little time at. Right? Like that thing when 125 bid offered right down, right? So there's somebody up there. Yeah, there's something up there for sure. For sure. And that's fair. That's what a market is, man. There might have been a guy that bought a watt at some price and says, you know what, at 125K, I'm going to buy a boat. So that's how things go sometimes. Let's talk about the AI trade. We got another big headline this week. The circle jerk continues.
Yes.
Right? This week was, what was it? OpenAI invested in AMD. Is that right? Or was that last week?
No, that was this week, I think.
That was this week's AI circle jerk. So they're all investing in each other and buying chips from each other.
Somebody actually put out a good tweet. I don't remember who it was, but they said Goldman Sachs invests $20 billion in Morgan Stanley. Morgan Stanley invests $20 billion in JP Morgan. JP Morgan invests $20 billion in Jefferies. Jefferies invests $20 billion in Goldman Sachs.
It's exactly what we're watching. Right? I mean, we're looking at this people that do the build out and the people that sell the AI, and you're like, wow, this is it. I think they're trying to keep this rally going. Like they're trying to, what's wild about this AI rally, JD, is that some of the securities, or there's two things that are wild about it. Some of the securities are just like NVIDIA, you can't stop, right? With semis, SMH at an all-time high, you just can't hold NVIDIA down, right? So that's that dynamic that's going on now. The other dynamic is the fact that the private equity stocks made a huge peak at the beginning of this year. And now with the stock market at all-time highs, they've made a lower high and curled over. So this is your trade where you've been bearish private equity for a while, and it's finally on my radar now. Like I have alerts above the market in TPG and Ares and BX. And if they get there, I'm going to put some shorts out and see what happens, because that I think is going to be ground zero for when the AI trade unwinds.
Yeah, I mean, this whole First Brands bankruptcy, like they thought it was like 6 to 8 billion, and it turns out to be like 50 billion, and like 200 CLOs own the debt. Like it is, dude, it is a mess. It is a mess. Like, and this is literally just the tip of the iceberg of what's out there,
It sure feels like it when, we've been listening to you for years, and then you read, Cuppy's write up on AI build out, and he's like, I don't know how we're going to pay for this. It's eerily similar to the .com era, and the stocks aren't reflecting it yet, but we're early a lot. So you got to factor that into to your perception, with the same thing with the gold trade, same thing with the AI trade. This is how we see things playing out. JD and I are always looking to the future, try to stay a step ahead of markets. And so that's how we're framing them this morning. What else do we have to talk about in the stock market, JD?
I'm trying to think. I'm not really sure.
This is why let me just talk about this then. This is why I can't get bearish stocks. Okay. Look at my leaderboard today. XME up 2.5%, GDX up 2.3%. So it is participating with the new high in gold. It hasn't made a new high, but it's rallying, right? Cloud storage and cybersecurity are rallying, but they're trailing the two leaders on the year. GDX and XME are the two leading sectors with uranium year to date.
By the way, when we had Paulo Macro on last week, he made me pretty bearish on uranium. Did he make you bearish on uranium? I walked away from that. I was pretty bearish on uranium.
it was a very balanced comment that he
He was
put out.
talking about
Maybe,
Oklo,
yeah.
like how they're going to have a reactor in 2040 and there's 2 times leveraged ETFs on this thing and they make up a huge percentage of URA. Like I was like, oh my God, like this is pretty frothy.
There's risk there. And somebody flagged that in my Slack channel to me very thankfully. A guy I called Doc, and he said, you might want to look at URNM as your ETF, as your vehicle for uranium, because it doesn't have Oklo in it. And here's the sort of systemic risk on Oklo. And that made sense to me. So I made the transition. So now I'm in URNM and I don't have the Oklo risk. And I think that's probably a good idea.
Yep.
So I'm not bearish though, JD. What I like about it is that the commodity has broken out of a consolidation. And, the stocks that trade, the rare earth trade are fire right now. They're still in that condition though, where they haven't given me a reason to make a sale. Like, you know what I mean? There's no reversals. Like we're grinding higher slowly here. So it didn't make me bearish yet. It's a trade that we're definitely going to have to keep an eye on. I mean, URA is up 91% year to date. I didn't have that in my cards before the year started. Well, I didn't have gold stocks up 132% this year either, but it sure sets up for a good year for gold miners next year, man. I mean, all I see happening next year is every bank and trading house coming out with their version of the gold trade recommendation because they want the orders on their desk. That's a dynamic that I'm looking for that will be favorable, but we're not there yet. So, do we go off the market from here, JD?
Yeah, sure.
I think we covered everything. I was going to mention dollar and rates, but there's nothing going on there, and I'm tired of talking about it.
There's no economic data either. So
yeah, this week there's nothing going on. Everything's kind of sideways. It's funny though, the dollar's rallying while the journal is talking about the dollar debasement trade.
Yes. Actually, let me talk about that for a second,
please.
So today is Wednesday. Dollar's up 3 days in a row this week, and by not a small amount. And I the same thing, the Wall Street Journal talking about the debasement trade. I'm like, there's a clear shot up to 100 in the DXY. You don't have resistance in the DXY until you get to 100.
Oh yeah, I mean I don't have really any until the last peak was at 100.5. So that's fair. Yeah, that's a good spot. And you've got the 200-day curling down at 101.5. So yeah, I mean somewhere in there, if we get a pop, that's where you make a sale. But I don't think you make it here. I mean it's wild to see dollar rallying, gold and silver rallying. So that's pretty cool. That's a good dynamic to discuss. Pay attention to how things trade relative to each other. You can almost, here's something that we could talk about under the same vein before we depart. You can almost make a case that you want to be looking for a peak in gold miners, right? Gold miners are not like gold where people are inhaling physical and putting it away forever. That's a line item on the P&L, right? That's just a trade. We're going to make money in these. We're going to buy them. It's going to go up further and everybody's going to make money. You can make the case that gold blew through 4K and GDX did not make a new high, right? So we'll see if that, how that plays out this week, but that's how you get tells as to what's going to be the next thing that goes.
Yep.
So we're going to pay close attention to that. Let's talk about Aaron Judge. Listen to that game. I couldn't get the game on my TV at TG Macro HQ. I listened to it on the radio like it was 1954.
Who's the guy that took over for John Sterling?
Oh, I don't even know his name. That was fuck. I don't know.
He's not bad. He's not bad.
No, they do a great job. I have no problem. I don't really listen. I had to listen last night, but I usually don't listen to the game when it's on TV. You know what I mean? I usually take the volume off and play music or something like that because I can't stand listening to a lot of announcers. I'd rather read about the game the next day and get all the color. But trailing 6-1 going into the bottom of the third, Judge doubles that scored that run in the 2-run third inning. Comes up in the bottom of the fourth, ties the game with a 3-run ding-dong on a 100-mile-an-hour 0-2 pitch on his wrists.
Yeah.
Smashes the thing off the freaking foul pole, and I mean, the Bronx went completely batshit crazy, and that is why you go to Yankee games in the Bronx. What are your thoughts on Judge, man?
I mean, that ball... I was actually reading about it. Physicists were like, it is impossible to hit that ball out. Like they don't know how he did it. Like it's impossible to hit that ball out.
Totally. Derek Jeter quote, I don't know how he hit the pitch. There's one person on the planet that can do it. It's Aaron Judge. You got to be 6'6" with
and
guns
also,
and feel.
he got off the home run schneid.
Yeah,
he hadn't hit a home run, and he's hitting like 500 in the postseason.
All he's doing is getting base hits. It's beautiful, right?
Yeah.
Singles and doubles.
Walks.
Yeah, so what's good is that, maybe last night that kind of blows the cork off the Yankees, schneid a little bit. They weren't able to score runs in the first two games.
And they got Schlittler going tonight.
Schlittler going tonight is exciting. He's a hardcore Red Sox fan.
Yeah.
Grew up in Southie, Boston, the whole thing.
Yep.
That was interesting that he came out and smoked him in the last game. How about this little stat? Judge has the 7th most playoff plate appearances in franchise history already. He's about to, if we make it to the next series, which remains to be seen, he'll pass Yogi Berra and Paul O'Neill to move into 5th place. How about that, man?
Yeah.
And was he on the 2009 team, the last team to win a ring? No,
Judge?
right?
No,
he wasn't. No, that was Hideki.
No, he didn't come up till 2017.
Yeah, that was way later.
But Jeter had a bunch of postseason plate appearances.
Oh, yeah.
Jeter and Bernie. And
Jeter's got to be up on the top of the list. I mean, if not the top of the list.
Yeah.
Right? Batting leadoff for the late 90s Yankees. I mean, it's got to be. It's got to be. We'll look that stat up and we'll post it when we publish the podcast. So that's exciting for us. We're down 2-1. We got a game at 7 o'clock tonight in the Bronx again. And, that's what I focus my day around, right? Hopefully I'll get that in front of me on the television and not have to listen to it on the radio being announced by somebody that I don't know. What else can we talk about off markets, JD? What's hot?
I'm getting my colonoscopy on Friday.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
You get to drink the blowout milkshake, they call it.
They do it different. I drink. I make a cocktail of like Miralax and Dulcolax and Gatorade. I drink a lot of Gatorade. They do it differently here. But dude, it's gonna be the screaming Jehuchawas tomorrow.
Yeah, man. Oh God. Well, these are the things that we have to tackle at our age. I don't know where to go after colonoscopy. I really don't know what we should segue into smoothly from there. I haven't had any.
My wife is going to be with me. I tell her when I wake up, put your hand over my mouth. Because when I come out of anesthesia, I say crazy shit. The first time, in like 2013, I had knee surgery. I came out of anesthesia. I opened my eyes, and there were like 4 nurses in the room, and they were all giving me dirty looks.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know what I said. Something deep in my subconscious came out. I was
God. I can only imagine what that was. Dear God. That's crazy, though. What's funny is that I've come out of anesthesia twice like a raging bull. And I don't know why, but one time I had a doctor ask me, dude, what, are you okay? Like, were you in the military or something? Like, you came out of anesthesia wanting to fight everybody. And I was sorry about that. So, I guess it does dig deep into the psyche somehow when it puts you under, right? Let's talk about something rosier. So in the entertainment space, I finally got to the end of Black Rabbit. You watching this one?
No.
Dude, dial into this. It's on Netflix. It's the perfect length. It's like 8 episodes long. Watches like an Ozark, a Peaky Blinders. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. Jude Law, Jason Bateman. And I'll tell you that
I love Jude Law. Jude Law is amazing.
Underrated. I had no opinion on him whatsoever. I thought he was great in this. Really, really good and likable actor. There's some intense scenes. And what I loved about this that they don't do anymore, great fucking plot twist at the end. Right? And I'm not going to give it away at all, but I'm so tired of being able to predict what's going to happen at the end of a 9-part series. You know what I mean? It's like, spare me this shit. And so this was something that was totally unforeseen and unexpected. Totally riveting series. I highly recommend it. I gave it a 9.
I think my favorite Jude Law movie, I don't know if you've seen it, Gattaca. Have you seen Gattaca?
No, I've heard of that. What is it?
It's kind of like about genetic engineering. I think it was like 98, 99, something like that. Really good. Ethan Hawke is in it. Uma Thurman.
Really?
Yeah, it's really good.
Speaking of Ethan Hawke, I started rewatching Training Day
Oh yeah,
just to have something to do. That movie's heavy.
that is intense.
It's intense. I didn't realize it. I like put it on while I'm doing my work. All of a sudden, I like stop what I'm doing. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? You know what I mean? Like, because you remember, like at the beginning.
I think that's Denzel Washington's best performance.
Oh man, he was a gnarly gangster in that movie.
Yeah.
Man. Remember when at the beginning when he takes out and he gets Ethan Hawke high off of the drugs that they just pulled off of the kids?
Yep.
Ethan Hawke gets blottoed high, and then Denzel starts fucking with him. He's like, I didn't make you do that, man. You got to fucking, make your own decisions and stand up to him. And you're like, oh, this guy's vicious, man. Totally vicious.
The most intense scene in that movie is when he drops him off at the Mexican guy's house and they're playing cards.
Yeah.
And then like Denzel Washington leaves.
Yeah.
And one of the Mexican guys is like, have you ever had your shit pushed in?
Yes, that's that scene. That is that scene. Oh my God. I didn't get to that scene yet because I'm like I said, I'm watching it while I work. That is a good scene. That is going to have you on the edge of your seat, shitting your pants, without a doubt. That's what makes movies good. Well, I think that's a good wrap. We covered everything in gold. We covered stocks. We covered the precious metals rally, the stock rally, how to handle the sentiment going vertical. And we'll tune in next week and see how we did. Right, JD?
Right on.
Hasta la vista, good people.